in the studio, back in the studio, back in the studio. We're here, yeah.
Really nailed it on the rhyme.
You're welcome. Why are you
almost
laughing?
lost it. You're like, good morning.
I'll do it again.
What are you doing?
Hello, and welcome to Hardly Working, the podcast about life, love, and labor, hosted by the couple that works, plays, and stays together. I'm Kellie.
And I'm SP, and we're back in the studio
Woo, woo.
after 2 weeks of cozy little home shows, which came with their drawbacks and pros, their pros and their cons. We are back here, back at home to wrap up season 2. Season 2, episode 10, the finale of season 2, right back here in the studio. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it is. We're back.
I'm enjoying it. Let's jump in. It's been a crazy busy week.
Crazy week.
All across the state, all across the country, even the world. At least it's felt like that because we've had many truly sleepless nights.
Yes.
And we've got so much to talk about. Tell us something about your week. Anything. Throw a rock and we could hit something about your week.
I know, seriously. It's been a good week, a crazy week. So this month is just a crazy, insane month. Every year it's insane for many reasons. This year it's even more insane. But I had 3 gigs last week, which 3 gigs in 4 days, which was a lot. It was great though. In 2 states. So shall we start on Thursday?
Yeah, I think might as well. Let's start on Thursday.
So we had a gig that I can't talk about the client, but it was at the Roosevelt Hotel.
If you want to know who it is, you're just going to have to go online and look them up.
But anyways, but we did that. It was really fun. I got to meet a new event coordinator. Her name is Dana. Absolutely love her.
So awesome.
We clicked, new, like, best friends immediately. In fact, we're hanging out in January, and I'm very excited about that.
Wow.
But it was a really fun event. Super, super fun at the Roosevelt Hotel, which is just a great space.
Very fun.
Very fun. Great, like, people there. It was beautiful. It was so much fun.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I didn't do this, but I wanted to. I was just like, who would want to watch this if not just for the podcast? I was like, I wouldn't put it on TikTok or on. The things you have to put online right now are so specific if you want people to stop. And I was like, this isn't specific enough. But it's weird because I've done so many gigs at the Roosevelt and we were upstairs on the 2nd or 3rd floor. It's very confusing there. I don't know. But we were overlooking the balcony and I was like, I've lived a whole life in here. I was like, right down there. That's where I did the world premiere for Captain Marvel. Over there was the premiere for Quiz Lady from a couple months ago. Out on the patio where the pool is where we started, that was Thor Love and Thunder. Right on this side of the balcony was Ralph Breaks the Internet, the Wreck-It Ralph sequel. And I probably could go on. I can't remember all the stuff I've done in there, but I was like, it's crazy now to be here with Bumble doing photo activations. And it was a freaking blast.
It was so fun.
It was awesome. The client had a great time. We had a great time. The photos looked insane.
Yeah, they did black and white glam, and it was so fun and so cool. We introduced some new props, which I'm not really props like centric on my
photo booth,
but I got some new ones that are really, really cool.
You know what's funny is it fits you because as I look around the studio here, over there, we've got disco ball stuff everywhere.
So it's disco cowboy hats.
Yeah, and then a really cool party hat. We'll have to see. We'll have to pull a photo. So if you're watching, you can see the disco hat right here.
Super fun.
Super fun.
We'll pull a photo from the photo booth.
There you go. Hopefully we have one of you.
Phone too.
And we posted it. We posted it on Instagram as well. We did. We made a concerted effort, a conceited and concerted effort to be posted on Hardly Working as well as Bumble. So if you're following us there and checking that out, thanks. It was fun getting some feedback there. We're gonna keep trying to do that, especially because this next week is just as crazy. But we'll get into that later. Yeah. Anything else on Hollywood?
No. So we did that. We probably left there at 12 midnight. Went home. Had an 8 a.m. flight the next morning. So naturally had to finish packing up everything, make sure we were good to go. We got like maybe 2 hours of sleep.
Yep. Went to bed at 2, got up at 5 or 4:30.
Something like that. So 5:15 maybe. I don't know.
Whatever it was.
But we drove to LAX, parked at LAX, had to check our bags through media, which is different.
What a nightmare LAX is right now, by the way. There's so much construction, allegedly because they want to have the Olympics here in a couple of years. But it's
insanity.
It was nuts to try to find parking and to pay like $250 to park or whatever.
You have to find the little joys in life. And for us, the little joy was that there were 2 of those like carts that you put your luggage on. Normally you have to pay for them, but there were 2 of them just right by our car. And so we grabbed them and put our stuff on them. Sorry, LAX. And so we had 5 bags, all of two of which were over.
There was an
70
81 pounds,
yeah.
76 pounds.
And then
we
our
were coming
normal
home.
bags.
Yeah, it was crazy. 5 bags for 2 people.
Yeah, so we did that. Flew Delta, #love Delta.
Yeah, we'll get into the question mark on Delta.
I mean, I am a Delta
home.
stan.
But I will say this. It was great with the media passes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The event, before we get into my qualm with Delta on the way home, we got to Louisiana. Had a great time.
Yeah, got to Louisiana.
Got to do photos in motion again, which is one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah, with someone that we only met them once, but really enjoy them. So yeah, met the Baileys at the Huff wedding who hired us on the spot. Fell in love with Ginny. She's so fun, and got to see her and Dustin, which was great. But they did photos in motion, which was really fun. If you don't know what that is, you can check it out on my BMBL or Bumble page on Instagram.
Yep.
It's really fun there. It's really cool. The photo moves when you hold it in your hand. It's very cool. But that was really fun. Got to do that. Stayed at a
Horseshoe Casino out
hotel.
there in Louisiana I forget the city name. We flew into Shreveport.
Bossier City.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Bossier.
But I met another event coordinator who I also absolutely love. And
so good.
is going was February and November of next year. We want to book you on 2 things already. I'm like, it's just, you never know what you're going to get when you come out of stuff. But that was really cool. She was so sweet, so kind.
Great.
Her whole family helps.
Team, yeah.
Yeah. Whole team is like her family, and they were all so fun. They came to the booth a couple of times. It was really fun. So we did that. Got 2 hours of sleep to fly home.
Some of us did. Let me jump in here. I didn't sleep at all, which I don't know, it just is what it is. But yeah, Kelly got like 2 hours of sleep because we wrapped up at like 1 by the time we got everything done, and then we got up at 3:30 or 3:45. No, 3:15.
Get ready
People
to
are
head
like,
to the
we
airport.
don't care the time. But yeah, it was early. And we got there, and we were the first people at the airport. There was only one person checking in. We have a ton of luggage. In fact, we ended up with more luggage going back because we had shipped stuff to the gig.
Yeah.
We'd shipped essentially 3 boxes. Each were 35 pounds each.
Yeah.
So we came home with just about 2 of those. So we had an extra 70 pounds of luggage that we didn't have.
We were prepared.
We get to the front desk, and the woman, who couldn't have been nicer, she was like, okay, well, it looks like it's going to be $520. And we were like,
what?
It
wasn't that expensive to fly out there with all this luggage with
yeah,
immediate
it was
passes.
only like $250 or something like that to fly out. And we ended up getting it down there. So that's not the story, though. The story is we're like the first people in this little tiny airport. And she goes, I'm actually going to be the person working your gate, too, like letting you on the plane.
We're like,
and
awesome.
Your flight is already overbooked by 7 people.
Can you believe that?
How many seats could possibly be on this flight?
She told us it was like 74 seats, something like that. Something
Very
weird.
small plane, like 2 on each side kind of plane.
Yeah.
And 7 people weren't getting on. And so we're in the waiting area, the terminal, and she gets on the loudspeaker and she starts telling everybody this. And she's like, we're going to call people up one by one. She's like, if you came as a couple, you'll have to choose which one of you stays and which one of you goes.
Or if you both stay, yeah.
Yeah. And we had a gig that night too. This is early Sunday morning. This is like 4 or 5 a.m. on Sunday morning, which is like 3 a.m. LA time.
Mind you, the next flight, because we had a layover in Atlanta, the next flight to Atlanta was at like 4 p.m. And the one after that was at 6:30. I was like, so if you're not getting on this 6 a.m. flight that you woke up early for to get here, you're hanging out in the airport
for
to
like
hopefully
10 more
get
hours.
on the next flight that's also overbooked by six people.
Yeah. They're like, you're probably not getting out of here till tomorrow.
I was like, dang.
And then she just started calling names, and it truly felt like the Hunger Games.
Yeah, we were safe because we
did whatever you do in the Hunger Games to be safe.
Yeah, we killed
Does that
people.
bribe the Capitol? I don't know.
Unalive people? Is that what it is?
Is that what it is in the Hunger Games?
Yeah, I mean,
Sponsor games? Sponsorships?
games?
I don't know.
Sponsorships.
You saw the new one, which we'll talk about in a sec too.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the Hunger Games, but thankfully we made it on the flight. But I was pretty worried. I was like, Delta. But it's not cool to overbook a flight by like 10%.
Yeah, that's true. But what we did learn is that there were a lot of people on standby who weren't going to make it on the flight. And that's what she kept saying. Like, it's technically overbooked because you have people on standby who are supposed to be waiting for their seats, but they're not getting on.
But that's the thing is like nobody, I understand the standby part, but no one books a flight and they're like, yeah, I'm so flexible. Like I could leave today.
Yeah.
I just got here at 4 a.m. because it was convenient for me.
Well, the bummer is that there were 4 seats on the plane that she had available. There was a single person that she called up first that they were good to go. There was a couple that got called up next. And then she was like, I need one person out of the party of whatever the last name was. And we were like, oh, that's a couple that's getting split up. They decided to stay.
They did?
Yeah, because the wife went up and she was like, no. And so they called someone up and got someone else on the flight. But
Oh,
I was
stay
like,
on the flight.
No.
Stay there.
Yeah, because only one of them was going to get on. If it was you and me,
Yeah, well, tell me
I would
this.
be like, I guess
So,
we're waiting together.
Let's say we didn't have a gig that night.
Yeah,
Airlines have to compensate you.
100% they do.
So what would be your number for us to stay in Shreveport one more night?
They would have had to pay for a hotel.
Yes.
Pay for all expenses to like get to and from the hotel.
After all that, what's the dollar amount for you? Because
Well,
I think they start off with like a $200 flight credit.
No, more than that.
400?
No, more than that.
Over or under 1,000?
Over.
Over $1,000 because it's two of us.
Yeah.
And
Well,
our
here's the
flights
deal.
are expensive too
Here's
with our
what I
bags
know.
as well.
Here's what I know. They have to book you on another flight.
Yeah.
At like a similar place that you're at. They have to, if they have you staying overnight, they have to pay for a hotel room. And we wouldn't have had any luggage. So they would have had to pay for new clothes for us to wear, which you can fight for. New clothes, toothbrush, like all the stuff, all the essentials. So it's a pretty large, it should be a large dollar amount. If you're going to have me stay, I know Erica, whatever her name is, she reads the fine print so that we don't have
TikTok.
to.
Yeah.
I've seen her videos.
Yeah.
I know what you can ask for. And it's true. I've watched people do this where they're like, you have to pay for my clothes. So like, I'm going to go buy what I would buy and I'm going to charge you for it.
Seems like a good deal.
I'm not going to find a sale on it. I'm just going to buy my clothes.
So here's what.
Sorry.
I think, though, that it would be a nightmare in the same way that, like, we all have car insurance, but when you need to use it, like, they'll take your money happily every month, but when you need to, it's like a fight. I have a feeling they'd be like, fine, we'll do this and this, but I have a feeling it'd be like phone call after phone call trying to get that reimbursement.
They
all
do
that.
it right there on site, I think.
Well, then it'd be worth it. So what is it then? 1,500?
I don't know.
2,000?
Well, does that include the flight?
Yeah, includes. No. Flight's separate. What's the dollar amount?
I don't know. I was thinking like 1,200.
Yeah, I could do that for 12.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't really know.
how much we'd pay like $200 for clothes and food and stuff, and then the rest is for the inconvenience, I guess.
Yeah.
But speaking of that part of the trip, before we get into the next part of our week, which I just want to hear how the Hunger Games was because we told people we talk about it.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it.
It was so good.
Yeah. Review over. Well, there was two people we ran into that morning. The person who picked us up at 3:45 in the morning, our Uber driver. Actually, in this case, it was Lyft because Uber was not working out for us.
Let us down.
I've used Uber for years, but they were not having it. So that person, as well as the gate check person. So the short of the story is we were talking with our Uber driver, and the same small talk I usually do, especially for early morning pickups, like thanks for picking us up. Are you just starting? Do you like doing it this time?
We're talkers, I guess.
You got to feel it out.
Yeah.
I would have rather not said anything, but he was very kind, so I went for it. Essentially, he was like, I'm going to do this from 3 a.m. till like 8 or 3 p.m. till 6 or 8, something like that. Then go get my 4 kids up, take them to church. Then after that, I'm going into my actual job to work.
Yeah, which is a business that he owns.
Yes. And then we get to the bag check person, and this woman is like, I'm just working this shift. Keep in mind, it's like 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
So she's already been working. She's like, I'm working only until 7, and then I've got my second job at 8. And I was like, I know that everything is expensive. Like most, if not all of us are feeling that. And if you're not, it's pretty lucky that you're not. But everything is so expensive. But we tend to think like it's so expensive, especially because it's Southern California, which is also true. But I was like, all of these people who are living in Shreveport, which the cost of living is significantly lower than Los Angeles. This is not casting any aspersions on Shreveport or anything, but significantly lower than Los Angeles. And even these people are working 2-3 jobs just to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time to be alive with how expensive things are and just with the cost of living. I don't mean like when people say, well, the cost of living has increased. I mean like just the cost to be alive.
Yeah.
You can't leave the house for less than, used to be 20. Now it feels like 75, $100 if you're going anywhere, if you're going to get food, if you're going to go to Target, all of that stuff is so expensive. So shout out to each and every one of you guys who is working hard and I was going to say, and hardly working. I hope you're doing less work, but you're working hard because you got to make it happen and you're doing it. And shout out to the people who don't have to do that and are in a position where even like us, like we do work hard, but we don't work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So let's, in a season of gratefulness and coming up on the holidays, It's good to reflect on, what to be thankful for. And boy, am I excited for season 3, which will be starting next week. We'll tell you a little bit about how we're changing it up, but I'm really excited about that. We've got a couple episodes of Hardly Holidays that'll be coming at you. And then we'll talk more about it, but we're going to be doing our top knots, which is our highs and lows from the year. And we're going to show you how we do it before we do that. So if you want to do that for yourself at home, if you want to send us a couple of your highs or even your best moments or your favorite memories from the year, we may be able to talk about that on the show. But it's something that's been really meaningful for us. We were hanging out with our friend Scott a couple weeks ago. He's like, I love this idea. I want to do that. Like, please, like, make me a PDF that I can do this.
Which
So
I have one. So
yeah,
I'll figure out how to attach it in our bio, maybe. I don't really know.
Yeah, we'll throw it up somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where we'll do it, but we'll throw it up on our social medias and that kind of stuff, and we'll make sure that it's available. Maybe we'll even put it up as a highlight on Hardly Working Instagram, so you can screenshot it if you want to. Either way, I'm excited for you guys to come on that journey with us because it's my favorite, one of my favorite things we do all year. Certainly a favorite thing we do at the end of the year. So it's going to be really fun. Anything else from Louisiana? Then you've got right back in Los Angeles.
After a couple hours of sleep, trying to sleep on the plane.
Oh boy.
And then finally getting back to LA, we had a gig in local, which was good, for Chick-fil-A for my friend Lindsay, which was good and easy and fun.
It was great to be there with Lindsay and Levon, and it was a good time with the team. That's where Kellie, one of the restaurants Kellie used to work at for a long time. Yeah. So there's a lot of the leadership team that you still know. Yeah.
So it's fun to see everyone and kind of connect with some of my, what I would call them friends now. Like,
shout out to
Mark and Kaylin, Corey and Alex. Yeah. And obviously Lindsay and Levon, but it was good to see all of them. And I'm so proud of her and her restaurant. Got to talk to her mom for a bit. So that's really exciting. She's getting married. Lindsay and Levon are officially tying the knot here soon. So that's exciting. But it was good. It was good. I am so proud of her. And I am so happy that I don't work at Chick-fil-A anymore. And she knows both of those things.
Yeah. Which are not, there's no correlation between those two.
No. Yeah, thank you. I was like, it was just going to events like that, I'm so proud of the people that are there and I love them all so much. And then I think it makes me realize how far I've come in a year. And the truth is, when you work somewhere for long enough, like, it kind of becomes your whole world. And unless you have people around you that can remind you that there's more to life than that, like you don't see that. And I think most of my friends were Chick-fil-A people before. And so my world was kind of small. Yeah. In terms of, like, my whole life was Chick-fil-A for 10 years.
Yeah. I think that's true about anything in any part of life.
That's what I was saying. You work somewhere long enough, you don't have people that are outside of that circle. It's what it kind of becomes. And so it's good to connect with them and love them, but it's also fun to be able to befriend them and love them from a different capacity, because I'm no longer their boss, but I'm like an equal or their friend or someone that's like moved on and done something different, and we can talk about more than just work. Yeah,
there was one moment you were telling me about with someone who's still a team member there, and you were talking about something in a certain way, and she's like, "Ooh, I like the new Kellie," or "I like the doesn't work at Chick-fil-A Kellie." Yeah. It just comes with the freedom that you didn't have before, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So that was a lot of.
That was fun, and then we were done, and then we went home and crashed.
Crashed really hard before getting our kid back yesterday. Yeah. So real quick, since I want to wrap up kind of the part of the recap of our week, wrap up the recap. Mm-hmm. Real quick on Hunger Games, you and Sean went to go see it earlier this week.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I am a huge Hunger Games fan, though. I just rewatched all 4 of the original Hunger Game movies prior to seeing this one. I really like Rachel Zegler. I really do. I know that people have a love-hate relationship with her, but I think she's wonderful and amazing. Truly, I think she's a great actress, and she's I can't say that, an amazing singer. Truly, like, really, really good. I was going to say kick butt singer.
I think that's colloquially no longer.
Kick-ass singer, I can say it. Okay, cool. But she is, seriously, 100%. But it was really good. A lot of people talked about how they didn't like the pacing, but I think if you go into it knowing that it's not going to be like the Hunger Games movie. Like, the majority of it isn't in the Hunger Games. It's the story of President Snow. So if you can go into the movie knowing that, I think you'll enjoy it more, because they do it in 3 parts.
Yeah. The movie's in 3 parts?
It's one movie with 3, like, it'll say part 1 or act 1, act 2, act 3, part 1, part 2, whatever it is, I don't remember. But if you can just go into it knowing it's the origin story of President Snow. It's not about the 10th annual Hunger Games. It is, but that's not all that it is. That's act 2, but you still got act 1 and act 3. You know what I mean? So I really liked it. I can't wait to see it again. I enjoyed it very much.
Would recommend. And last thing before we jump into the shout outs, I will say this for those of you who have been following along on our Gears of War epic saga.
We're back to number 1.
We've officially finished all 5 games.
Yep.
Which is remarkable because we've been very busy.
Yeah.
But I think we finished it a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
But yes, so that's where we're at with that. Please send us all of your condolences about the game and those who we lost during playing.
Oh, we're going to lose them again, though, because we started back at game 1, but it's a step above beginner.
A little harder, yeah.
A little harder so we can challenge ourselves.
It's going to be good times. Well, let's get into the show proper here with some shout outs.
I got shout outs.
You've got shout outs.
Well, I got one particular shout out that I'd like to share.
Yeah, so I did get, I opened our email and it said something like,
SP,
don't read this.
It was for me.
Which is weird because I'm the one who usually puts the show together. Yes. And this is totally new for me. So, I'll turn it over to the Kellie Show.
Perfect. So we did have a shout out. Well, this is the shout out that I'm going to read.
Hit me with
That's it, because it's long. Shout out to Ryan.
Love him.
He's my brother. He wrote into the show.
Love it.
And he says, "Hello, sister and SP.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
I wanted to ask SP a question."
Okay.
But there's a lead up.
Okay.
He says, "I remember when I first went on a trip with you and my sister for a gig you were doing. It was an event down in San...
I know what it is.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
Isn't
it was San Diego Comic-Con in 2018 or 2019. And we stopped at Shake Shack where there was a Bob's Burgers themed pop-up there. And you had just gotten your surgery a couple weeks ago, or a couple days ago. So you were like really tender. And then we went to the White Rabbit in downtown San Diego for Comic-Con to do an after party for Hero Within."
Yes.
Does he say all that
stuff? No.
Oh,
he
Ryan.
just says it wasn't, because there's a lot more to it.
Okay.
But you are spot on. That is what it is. So it was an event down in San Diego during Comic-Con. Having known a handful of friends who were DJ/hosts at house parties and such, I gotta be honest, I was not expecting much. Lo and behold, watching you get people moving and just the overall energy that you cultivated, I no longer wondered why my sister was into you. I get it.
Oh, Ryan. Thanks, bud.
It was impressive on so many levels, and I'm sure it's something that comes from a lot of talent and experience. So my question is, in the before time, before you were awesome, was there ever some part of your repertoire that was hardly working and you had to change or let it go? I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm. Working in the name.
Yeah.
Something that I had to change or let go of to get to where I am. Wow, what an interesting question. So I did not read this. This is the first time I'm hearing it. My initial blank is there's a lot that I had to let go of throughout my life, whether that was me choosing to let go of it or it's getting let go of.
The way that you talk or the way that you communicate?
I think it's a lot of different things.
Okay.
And while I answer this, would you mind moving that coaster? I'm getting the glare right off the one on the windowsill.
Yes.
Thank you. So there's some big things in my life that I had to let go of or chose to let go of. Like I think of, this is all, what do you think, Al, in terms of just entertainment or personal?
So he's specifically asking part of your what repertoire, like something that you said or something that you did or the way that you spoke. Like, did you have to learn or let go? Or maybe you pick your top 3.
Okay,
things.
So let me just, it's going to be a little bit of flow of consciousness here. First thing, I remember one time, it was one of the first gigs I was doing with Disney, not the first one, but it was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and they were doing a marathon. It was they showed the first movie, there's a little bit of a break in the second movie, and I was DJing and hosting that and bringing out James Gunn and different stuff. It was very fun. But between the movies, I go out there and I go to my DJ booth to play, and the volume is muted. That's not uncommon. It happens. So I'm just waiting. I kind of sit next, not sit on, but lean up against, pardon me, hiccups, lean up against the stage, and then just kind of waiting.
I know where you're going with this.
Totally. One of the high ups there, he retired, but he used to work there, comes up and starts talking to me, and I don't remember exactly what he said. Go and do the gig, it's fine. Then I get a text from Tara. She's like, do you have time to talk? And it wasn't normal then. The short of the story, she's like, this person sent me a photo of you leaning against the stage. What I need you to know, and we didn't tell you this. I think she said that, but like when it's particularly with Disney, it's all smiles all the time. If you're out in front of people, you can't be leaning against a stage. You can't be there without a smile on your face. Like it is all Disney magic all the time. And so I think that's one of the big things that has set me apart is knowing that it is all smiles all the time, and not necessarily smiles, but when you're on stage or in front of people, you are on stage and in front of people, and you have to assume that people are watching you. So it's always looking like you're having a good time. It's always keeping the energy going. And that was a big shift because that's not how our human brains work, you know?
Yeah.
So, and we talk about it at your gigs a lot too.
Yeah, no, you said that to me on Thursday. You went Disney smiles.
Yeah. Like fix your
Disney,
face.
fix your face. Yeah. It's Disney is ingrained in you in terms of that. Like it is always smiling, always happy. Nothing's ever wrong. We're great here. It's so great.
Yeah.
All the time, which I think
100%.
sets you apart and sets us apart now. And all things that we do is we kind of like, you've passed that along.
It's all about that personal connection. And it's a little bit about the razzle dazzle. So that had to change. And then I just think about like things that like with my dad dying when I was younger, when I was a teenager, like that was a big shift for me. And anytime, I may have said this, I'm sure I've said this on the show before, but anytime that someone close to me, whether it's like a family member or even just someone that I've worked with or know or even really look up to, anytime a person like that passes away, for me, it's always been a time to reframe and refocus my perspective.
Yeah.
Like my dad died at, I don't remember if it was 53 or 54. I thought it was 53, but my mom was like, I think it was 54. Either way. When that happened, I went, okay, what if I knew I was only going to live till 54?
Yeah.
Like how would I choose to live my life, my career, my family, all of that kind of stuff. When Chadwick Boseman passed away at 43 or something, I said, okay, I'm, however old I was when that happened. Like, what if I only had X amount of years? I don't remember what it was, 15 years, 6, whatever. How would I do that? The tricky part about life is no one knows when it's going to end. So we all have to plan as if it's never going to end. You have to save, you have to do all this stuff, but people come and go in your life. No job or event or even, as crazy as it sounds, even relationship is forever or the most important thing.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out ways to, we talked about this before and we talk about it in our house all the time, is understanding like you're the only one responsible for your happiness. Nobody else is. So if you're not happy, you have to make a change. I think some of that bleeds into work life too, is like it would be so easy to be the type of DJ, specifically DJ, that goes in, plays music, doesn't get on the microphone, doesn't interact with the crowd, and then leaves. That is the easiest way to do that.
Yeah.
It's basically like being an iPod, or what we'd call Spotify now. Used to call it an iPod.
Yeah.
But the learning from Corey Live and from Tara and from just my experience with the movie studios, it is about trying to be something different and something better.
Yeah.
And even like wardrobe, one of the things that I'm always told, or was told for a long time with Corey and Tara, is like, if you're up on stage, you can't look like you just walked off of like out of the party and onto the stage. You need to look different. And that's why some of our outfits are sequins or things you'd never see. They're kind of above and beyond or crazy, is like, you got to play the part essentially, which also means like leaving some things behind. Like I'd be more comfortable wearing X, Y, or Z. Like, well, too bad. You have to wear this, this, or this. So there's a lot of like comfort stuff.
Yeah.
That I had to switch up. And I think that's just true of life too, is like, I've learned this about myself recently as I've been working through some of my anxiety on my own, is realizing I am afraid of discomfort. Like, like in the mornings, you might have like a hunger pain in your stomach because you haven't eaten. Like my brain goes to like, you probably have the stomach flu. And like, this is just the beginning. And like, it's just fear. It's fear. And that happens with gigs and with all this stuff too, is like any feeling I have, it's like, it's going to be the worst version of it. So trying to shed some of that stuff to ask yourself not just like what could go wrong, because you need to ask yourself that stuff to be prepared, but also like, what if it went right? Like, how would you feel if it went right? So does that answer the question a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I would also say this. You say this a lot too, and people ask, for those that you at home that don't know, you were a pastor for 10 years and specifically a pastor of like a youth pastor.
Yeah. I worked with middle school for like 5 years and then birth to 5th grade.
But you always say, I think that's where where your training ground was for like, for real. What I was going to say. Yeah. Who am I? I think that's where your training ground was. And I think you say a lot when people ask you, you say, if you can communicate something to a 12-year-old, then you can communicate anything to anyone.
Yeah. If you can
Because-
effectively communicate a complex idea to a 12-year-old, you can
Yeah.
basically do it to anyone.
And so I think you got the opportunity to do that a lot in your pastor days. And it's actually helped you to where
For
you are
sure.
now. And like you said, Corey Live and just other things. You're also very quick and very witty. And you just like, give it to them.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned the pastor thing, because I kind of learned a lot of being on mic from going to church twice, sometimes more, every single week from the time I was in halfway through 7th grade through until I wasn't a student anymore.
Yeah.
So the people I learned from were the people who were on stage on microphone. For me, it was one of my, growing up, one of my closest people was Dre on the microphone, or Trent Lewis, or Dustin Kleinschmidt. And that's how I learned how to play instruments too. I'd watch them play and I'd be like, okay, I can do that shape on, like, I can move my hand like that on the guitar. Let me see if I can do it at home. And I learned that way. So between those things, and then honestly, I was really obsessed with stand-up comedy in middle school with Comedy Central Presents. And so I would just watch those over and over. I would download them on Napster or LimeWire and listen to them over and over.
So funny.
So I learned a lot about...
Don't come for us.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've definitely paid my dues in the music industry since then, in terms of Napster and all that. Anyway, but getting obsessed about stuff. I was listening to someone talk about the David Beckham documentary that's on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
And it was like, he had the type of dad that was like, you're going to, shoot this ball until you hit that top of that goal post. Like, if you don't hit it now, we're going to keep going. And it's the people who get obsessed with their craft or obsessed with winning are the people that are the greatest of all time. Like Michael Jordan wasn't just like, I play basketball for fun, or name whoever you want, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. Like, they go for it. They're obsessed with it. Their whole life revolves around it. They're working out multiple times a day doing it. And I think when you can get that type of focus, it just obviously it hones that skill.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, if you can find something you get excited about, and you take some attention away from like TV or whatever you spend most of your time doing, and focus it on that, you get like a crash course and like a master class in whatever that thing is. So that was really beneficial for me growing up, as well as getting to do that every single week as an adult. So yeah, lots of stuff. Thanks for throwing that in.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully that answered your question.
And if not, I'll talk to you about it at Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sending it in. No, that was really fun, Ryan. Thanks for sending that in.
That's a good question.
And what a good memory. I would go through all the pieces, but I hit him at the beginning.
You did.
It was good times. It was really good having him there. You ready for some unpopular opinions? Do you have any of those?
No, I don't have any unpopular
Oh,
opinions.
or you've got fun facts,
I do
don't
have
you?
fun
Do you want to
facts.
do them now? I'm
Up to
telling
you.
you, it's the Kelly Show today, everybody.
No, it's up to you.
All right, let's hit some unpopular opinions, and then we'll go through.
My fun facts are Christmas facts.
Because
So.
we are in the holiday season.
Yes.
We should decorate the set a little bit, put a little
Maybe.
holiday tree up. We'll see for season 3. All right, so here's a couple. We'll see how many we get through today. First one, any work incentive that isn't just more money is lame. So think about normal job. You work your normal 9 to 5. Any incentive that isn't just more money is lame. Here's what we're talking about. Things like casual Friday. Things like we're bringing in lunch if we hit this sales thing. Any incentive that isn't just more money is lame.
I think it's Sorry, my brain just went right back to me working.
Yeah, because you were in charge of a lot of incentives.
Charge of
our events, really.
Yeah, we called it our EVP, our employee value proposition, which I can't remember what the EVP was.
That's okay. You don't have to anymore.
Yeah, it's true. But it was all about like, how do you get people, or how do you keep your employees happy, healthy,
and some other H words. Yeah.
I don't know. That's not what it was, but that's like what I would tie it down to. I hear you, and like the casual Fridays or any of that stuff, like not really incentive. You would be surprised though how many people are like, yeah, that's really cool. But I would say it depends.
I just don't think we live in that world anymore.
That's true. But I will say this, one of the bigger things that we did every year that was really incentivizing is we used to do a huge holiday or Christmas party.
Yeah.
Where we'd give away like $8,000 worth of prizes. And I can say that because I was the one who planned it and who bought all the prizes. And we would incentivize that way by saying, we used to do like seasonal item contests, like whoever sold, were put on teams, and whoever sold the most got to put their name in to the raffle X amount more times.
Right.
That was pretty incentivizing when they could win a TV or the Beats that they wanted or an iPad or a GoPro or
Yeah, there was like a lot of legit
lots of
prizes.
stuff. So I think it depends on what you're incentivizing. We've done stuff where perfect attendance would get you like a week paid vacation,
And I think
which
that
I guess
still
is
counts
more
as
money, but
yeah.
I would count that as more time.
Yeah, I think it's one and the same.
Yeah, but people also loved casual Fridays, like when they got to wear jeans to work, or during the holiday season, like Halloween, getting to dress up in their costumes or getting to wear ugly Christmas sweaters.
Yeah.
So
And I think
hear
that's
you.
fun.
I think that society is moving away from that. I think they're like, respect my time and
Yes.
I'll work for what you pay me.
Yeah, there isn't, we've talked about it, that company loyalty or
Yeah.
anything as much anymore. But that's the thing is like, I think that everybody is in need. No one's like, I have enough money.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone is all, we talked about this on the drive today. Everyone's also faced with everything they do. People are like, would you like to tip me for having done that?
I know.
Would you like to tip me because I'm at work? And it's like, all of us need more money.
Yeah.
Yet all of us are being asked for more money at the same time.
Yep.
So when someone's like, you can come in jeans on Friday, that's no longer incentive for people who have been working from home for the last couple of years. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I see you holding it.
I know. What I was going to say is this. I think if people were paid what they should be paid,
Yeah.
that those things would be more incentivizing. Like if you were getting paid the right amount of money and you were like, yeah, I feel good. And if houses weren't $1 million for a 3-bedroom
Yeah.
crap hole.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like I think people would be more incentivized by some of those things
Sure.
rather than money because they're already making the money that they have, that they need.
That's true. Yeah. Pay people what they're worth. All right. Next one. Oh yeah. That one, 91% agreed that it's lame unless it's cash. Next up, looking at your spouse's phone is not a violation of privacy.
No,
So you know it's not?
it's not a violation of privacy.
Yeah, I agree. 68% agreed, 32% didn't.
Unless your spouse has specifically said like, hey, I don't, and this would be you and I don't want you to look at my phone right now because I'm ordering you Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Or I don't want you to look at my phone right now.
Which is kind of the case right now.
Yeah, I don't want you to look at my phone right now because I'm planning something. That's all I can say. Like,
Yeah.
then I feel like, yeah, you can respect each other. But at the end of the day, it's your significant other. It's your spouse. Like, that's just a part of the deal.
Yeah, I think it comes down to communication too.
And
like,
trust.
That's the thing is, trust is a weird word here because if it kind of implies that if you trust your spouse, you wouldn't need to look at their phone. And if you don't trust your spouse, you would want to look at their phone because you think they're doing something they shouldn't. And part of it is a trust issue. And part of it is either a communication issue or like you could be doing something you shouldn't, that you know is going to hurt your spouse.
Yeah.
And that to me is a communication issue as well.
Yeah, I guess it's all
Is that there's, it's not maybe all, but a lot of it's communication.
Yeah.
Like if it's not, it's a little too broad stroke to be like, if you don't have anything to hide, then that's not really quite it. It's not fair to boil it down to that, I don't think. And at the same time, if you're not doing anything that you know your spouse is going to be like, why are you talking to this person or why are you looking at this thing?
Yeah.
Then this isn't even a question, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that this is not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah. People don't like their spouses looking at their phones for some reason. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, most people aren't like, yeah, you can look at, or don't, what am I saying?
Yeah.
Most people don't say, don't, you know what
Don't
I
look
mean?
at my phone.
Most
Yeah.
people, more people than I would expect, don't let their significant others look at their phones,
Like
especially when they're not married.
I think it's so weird.
I think it's weird too, but I
you.
think it is the norm. I knew you were getting cold.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree that I think it's the norm. I think it's weird, but you and I just don't have that problem. Like I can grab your phone at any given point in time. And so can you, except for in this season specifically because it's Christmas or yesterday when I was like, don't read your email because Ryan has sent an email. Don't look at your screenshots.
That's the one exception. When Ryan sends something, you get to look at my phone at any time.
But yeah, I can take your phone anytime. We do it all the time.
Oh yeah.
You'll get a text message while you're driving and you'll just hand your phone to me and I'll be like, Tara
Respond to
says,
this. Yeah, please respond to this.
Mom says, whoever says, yeah.
All right, I got one more
Wait,
for you.
what was the percentage of people that?
Like I said at the beginning, 68% agreed that looking at your spouse's phone is not a violation of privacy.
So 32%?
Think that that is a violation of privacy.
Sorry to you guys. I don't know what to say.
That's the thing, and I'm excited about next season too, because we'll get more. We'll have one show that's very just fun and lighthearted, and then another show that kind of
show after the show.
Yeah, the show working through it, hardly working through it, that we dig into some of the stuff that we don't feel like has to be as entertaining, but is more heartfelt. Yeah, you know, I don't know the reason for those 32% saying that.
I'd be curious to interview one of them and ask them, like, what are your thoughts and why don't you want your spouse to look at your phone? Like, what are you scared of? What are you nervous of?
I also know that most people aren't wired the way you and I are. Like, we're very enmeshed together. We're very, we live all of our life together with rare exception. So I know that that's not normal, but are you looking over there to see if there's a spider?
Yeah, I saw it earlier.
Is it really a spider?
I don't know, but it's alive.
Code red, y'all. Okay.
We're okay.
I'm going off mic.
Oh my gosh.
You
we're okay.
You keep stalling. Oh my gosh.
Well, he does that.
Describe what's happening.
But yeah, but I would be curious to see. He's really going to kill the spider. I would be curious to see why people don't. There he is. Why they don't let their spouses read their stuff, because it's very interesting to me. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Welcome back.
We good, y'all? Not a spider, just a little bug.
Oh.
Sorry,
I was going to read the next unpopular opinion.
You can go for it.
Yeah, unpopular opinion number 3.
It's the Kellie show today.
Judges, police, and elected officials should be sentenced to twice the time a regular citizen would be for committing a crime.
Agreed. Now, I don't know if it's twice the time, but look, I do feel like if you are the people who are upholding the laws and making sure that people don't break the laws, and when they do, you're the person who's punishing them for that, your consequences should be more severe if you choose to break the law. Maybe that's my former youth pastor talking, not mine, but me as a former youth pastor, because we were all told, because you're in leadership, you get held to a higher standard and you'll be held to that standard different than most people, which I also don't think is probably true. But I do think that if your job is to hold the people accountable for breaking the law, the stakes at which you're operating should be higher. And I'll put, we said elected officials, but I'll throw presidents in there specifically.
Yeah, this is an interesting question. And for those of you that don't like things getting political, you can skip past this section if you'd like to.
Is it going to get political?
No, but this is what I'll say. I agree with you, but I think it's more than just like double the time. I think that truly, we are a pretty new country comparatively to the rest of
we were talking about this.
We're
like
world.
250 years old.
Yeah, we're not even we're not really that old. But what I would say is I think it's probably time for us to look at the standards that allow people, or like, you know, the qualifications that allow people to get elected in certain parts of different offices. Because I just think it's insane. We've talked about this. There's a couple things I'm going to say. Number one, I think it's insane that you can run for president from jail.
Yeah, that's true.
Or as a convicted felon.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a very weird thing that we can have someone like that run our country, especially in this day and age. I think that probably should change. I think you should probably have some experience in the political sphere before you can run for president. I think you should. I know you have to be a certain age, which is good, but I think there should be
like 35.
But still, I think there should be. But that's better.
I know we have like 2 80-year-olds who are going to be running here.
I think we should have more qualifications for that. Additionally, I think there should just be better rules. I think it is dumb that elected officials get to decide the fate of other elected officials when the said elected officials have their own issues. For example, let's go back. Let's just go back. I think it was last year to, can I even say this on the podcast? To the shooting that happened in Tennessee at a school. And you had 3 elected officials. 2 of them were black. 1 of them was white.
I remember this.
That were standing with their constituents in City Hall in Tennessee and saying, like, we want gun reform. Well, guess what? The 2 black ones were kicked out of office. The 1 white woman was suspended. Eventually, I think both of those ones that got kicked out were brought back in.
Yeah.
But you know who decided that?
Who?
Oh, I mean, there was just a Republican on that side who was more important to vote against drag shows not happening in Tennessee. But also, he had a couple sexual assault accusations against him. And he was one of the big voices that got to say, we're going to kick this person out for peacefully standing with his constituents in City Hall. I just think that there needs to be better rules, because it's insanity to me that someone who was elected by the people for the people to represent them stood with them and then got in trouble for standing with the people that he represents.
That's a good point.
In the Congress in Tennessee. I know it's one example of many, but there are tons of this that are happening. That one just really stood out to me, probably because our friends just moved to Tennessee, and specifically the Republican in question was the Republican voted in Sierreville. which is where our friends, their business is. And it's nothing to do with them, everything to do with the Republican, but it really just stuck with me because I was like, it's insane that this person who is being accused of this, number one, nothing has really come of it. It's everyone knows, but he still gets to serve and he still gets to make decisions about things. But he was totally fine. But these other people weren't.
You know what's interesting?
Sorry, that was a lot of politics.
It's a lot. It wasn't. But I think...
Do I sound smart? Do I sound like I have a lot of knowledge?
So smart. I think both sides of the political spectrum agree that this is broken. Whatever it is broken.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. Something should change. Something's got to give because it is insanity. The way people who are elected are behaving, are talking to each other. I saw a clip where there was almost a fist fight, I think, in Congress. Yeah. Bernie Sanders had to step in.
Oh my gosh.
Bernie had to step in.
Yeah, that doesn't make no sense.
But it's like, I don't know. I honestly think the age of the internet is continuing to make things and attitudes worse and worse. But that's not what we're here to talk about. But I do think that if you are in a position of authority,
you should be held accountable.
You should be held accountable.
More because you know the rules and you know the law.
It's true.
Like you shouldn't be doing that.
Yes.
Don't steal confidential papers from places. Sorry.
Don't speed.
No, but don't do drugs. Don't go to a show on Broadway or a theater show and get groped by your significant other
and do it back
and be either really drunk or high and then be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Christians and abortion shouldn't happen. Okay.
Christians shouldn't happen.
No, Christians are the amazing and abortions shouldn't happen. That's literally who this person is. I was like, what? But you were just,
here's my
you don't
take
represent what you... Yes. You're not representing in real life what you represent in office. It doesn't match. And so shouldn't there be some consequences for you?
Well, also, I don't know about that specifically.
Got lots of thoughts.
But here's what I think is that I think everybody is entitled to live their life the way they want to live it as long as you are not harming other people.
Yeah.
At the same time, if that's how you want to live your life, you probably shouldn't choose to live in a public eye or be a policy maker because you are going to be scrutinized way harder.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with your life, but you're also going to have the repercussions and consequences of being a public figure if you choose to be that.
Yeah. And people are going to hate me for this, but I love AOC. I love who she is. She is who she is in the House is exactly who she is. She's a congresswoman. She's a senator.
You don't love her that much.
But she is the same person in the government as she is in real life. She doesn't change who she is to be. She is exactly who she is. I really like her, but I like that she's an outspoken woman who shares some of my same values and stances on things. I appreciate that. There are other people that I'm like, who are you? You don't even, you're just spewing
hate and vitriol.
Wikipedia knowledge that anyone can put on the internet. I'm
YouTube University.
Yeah, there's a specific website that was watching Marjorie Taylor Greene talk about something. And I was like, that's not a real website that you're pulling information from. And literally another Congress or senator or whatever she is, I don't even know, literally said, that's not real facts. And she was like, yes, it is. I'm like, but it's not. Someone needs to fact check. Sorry, I know I'm getting really political, but someone needs to fact check these people.
Well, the problem isn't necessarily...
spew hate. Sorry.
I will say that there's just not a value for facts anymore in general, in the sense that a fact from either side is going to be, it's going to be said by the other side to not be true. And here's all the reasons why. And you can spin just about anything.
That's true.
Political spinning has happened forever.
True.
But yeah, there's just, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just keep cutting you off. I really put all of my cards on the table today and I just don't really care. I'm just who I am. But there should be some more rules. Again, you should maybe pass a test about our history of the United States or what the rules are.
Like the laws?
In the judicial court. What are the things? Because some of these people that have been elected in, I truly think have been elected in because people are just
Well, some of them are running unopposed. And you mentioned one of them.
Yeah, I know. Unopposed. And so she made it in. But I think there should be a test. I think they should know some of the things that they can and can't say when they're put up on the podium or when they're talking about stuff. I just think it's insanity that we have people within our government that don't know how the government works.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. I may not understand all of how our government works, but I'm also not going to run for anything.
I agree.
And if I was going to, guess what? I would probably learn more because I'd want to understand and not look dumb when I'm sitting up there trying to talk about stuff and fight for certain things.
I agree. I also think you should have
lots
to take
of
a test
thoughts.
before you have a baby. You should have to.
You kind of have to pass some tests.
Not really.
You have to know how to put a car seat in your car before you can take your baby home.
Not if
That's
you have a baby in your home.
That's true.
Anyway, now we have to find an interesting transition to get to your fun Christmas facts.
I know. Here's the deal. That's a lot of things, and I'm really sorry if you are fast forwarding. Now is the time to press play if you went past all of my political stuff, and I don't apologize for who I am and how I view things.
Oh, that's the end of the sentence.
And who wants to learn
it.
about some Christmas facts? I don't really know. I'm very passionate about this, and I have lots of thoughts.
I will say this. We may find an opportunity to have conversations like this. It's not typically what we talk about or what people come to listen to. But my hope is that that these can be conversations. Obviously, it's one way because we're talking and you're listening. Yeah. And at the same time, in a world that is only black and white and right and wrong, particularly when it comes to politics, man, I hope we can find some common ground on things because nothing is sustainable if we all just keep saying it's this and not that on both sides. Nothing's ever going to change. So I think conversations are good.
We have to get back to reaching across the aisle, which hasn't happened in a long time. And I'm hopeful that we can get back there. Things settle down a little bit. COVID's kind of over.
Yeah, ish, I guess.
Yeah.
Over more than it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let's get into some Christmas facts.
With Kellie. It's good, not good alliteration, but close. Okay, here's the deal. I have 10 Christmas facts.
Okay.
And I'm gonna see if you can guess some. Some will be true or false. I have the facts. I'm gonna be figuring out how to do this right now. Okay.
Perfect.
It's great. They're great facts. Number one. Are you ready?
So ready.
Because you have to use your smarts and your knowledge to try to make this.
I didn't pack my smarts and my knowledge.
I know. I don't know how you're going to do this. So Christmas cards are a big thing every year, right?
Yeah, sure. Less so lately, but
specifically in the U.S.
Oh, sure.
A lot of people send Christmas cards.
Okay.
We send Christmas cards.
Sure
Maybe
do.
not this year, but I'm going to try to make it happen. So if you want a
have.
Christmas card, send me your address, Hardly Working Insta. I'll send you one for reals. How many Christmas cards do you think are sent in the U.S. every year?
Over 1 million.
Yeah.
Over 10 million. Over 100 million. Over 500 million. Over 1 billion. Wow, I'm gonna say 5 billion.
You'd be really close.
Really?
Yeah, it's 3 billion Christmas cards.
3 billion?
3 billion Christmas
Dang.
cards are sent in the U.S. every year.
I don't even know 3 billion people.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, what else?
All right, what do you think is the biggest thing? This is just for funsies, and I just want to know if you can guess it. What is the one thing that every person has in their, like the most important piece of Christmas in everyone's house every year?
Tree.
Yes, the Christmas tree. When do you
was
think?
that the facts?
No. When do you think the first Christmas tree was sold? What year?
What year? First Christmas tree was sold. I don't know a lot about my Christmas history. My Christmas tree. Was it before the 1700s?
No.
Okay, so it was an American thing.
Yes.
I guess
In the U.S. All this is going to be
U.S. Okay, I'll keep guessing.
For the most part.
Was it in the 1800s?
Yes.
Okay.
My foot's asleep.
I'm gonna go just 1876. 100 years after the founding of the country.
No.
They're like, now it's time for Christmas.
No, it is not 1876.
Okay,
I'll
what
give
is
you
it?
one more guess.
One more?
Unless you don't.
1843.
That was closer. 1850.
Hey, that's pretty close.
It's the first Christmas tree.
1850? I was going to say that, but I was like, it's too round of a number.
No, it's a perfect number. It's
Okay.
a perfect round
Do
number.
we have the
1850.
story?
I wish. But I have more facts about Christmas trees.
You want to make up the story? Christopher Columbus the 12th chopped down a cherry tree.
Well, I have this. We can talk about this. Do you know who the first? Do you know which president who was also an environmentalist banned Christmas trees from the White House in 1901?
In 1901, was it Taft?
No.
Garfield.
No.
Washington?
It's a popular president that you would know. He also served in our army, our military.
Teddy Roosevelt.
That's right.
Oh, wow. I don't think of Teddy Roosevelt as a 1901 president.
He was, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt?
Teddy
the man
Roosevelt.
who carried a big stick
Yes.
and fought a bear?
Yes.
Is that Johnny Appleseed?
The big stick, I don't think was Teddy Roosevelt. I think that was FDR.
And carry a big stick. So move quietly and carry a big stick. Something like that.
I don't know, but he did serve in the military. Anyway, so that was my fun fact. This is crazy, insane fun facts. Do you know how long it takes to grow an average Christmas tree? On average?
Yeah, well, I think it depends because
So sorry.
all Christmas trees are different sizes.
Yeah,
but
on average,
let's see, because my mom got Brooklyn a Christmas tree for the front yard when she was born.
Yeah.
And it was already a couple feet tall. Now it's probably like 8 feet tall and she's almost 9 years old.
Yep.
So I'm going to say 8 years.
No.
What is it?
15.
15 years?
It takes about 15 years to grow the average Christmas tree.
That's a big investment for
You didn't
$50 tree.
You didn't account for the already grown part of the tree that you said. It was already kind of grown.
I tried to, but I
you
thought
said 8 years. I was like, she's
well,
9.
I mean, we're not farmers. You can probably grow it faster than we're growing it, in the desert here.
I think they just grow as fast as they grow.
How long does it take to grow a fake Christmas tree?
I don't know. I don't have that knowledge here.
Probably.
I'm trying to do all my
days.
Christmas tree facts right now. So there are more than 45 million Christmas trees that are planted every year.
Okay.
How many living Christmas trees do you think are sold? So if you know that there are 45 new ones planted, how many do you think are sold every year?
Can't be all of them. 30 million.
That's really close. 35.
Hey, I'm good
35
at this
million
today.
living Christmas trees. Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts.
All right. Do you think Santa Claus was based on a real person or do you think it was made up?
I think it was based on St. Nicholas.
Of? Which one?
Decanter? I don't know.
This is like crazy
Ireland?
Christmas facts for everyone. No, St. Nicholas of Myra.
Of Myra?
Yeah, I don't know. He is the patron saint of banking.
Trees? Banking? He's the Scrooge McDuck of patron saints?
Wait, that's not it. Pawnbroking.
Pond
Pawn.
broking. Pawn.
Like I'm guessing like pawn
P-A-W-N.
shops. Yeah. Sailing.
Okay, this is a saint?
Orphans.
Oh, that seems like where it should begin and end.
And New York City.
This makes no sense. I didn't even know that saints could have multiple things.
That's what it is. That's what it says.
Wow. Well, welcome to New York. It's Christmas time. That's probably why they have the giant tree in Madison Square Garden.
That's
or
probably
30
why,
Rockefeller or whatever it is.
Speaking of New York, which has nothing to do with this next question, what state do you think was the first state to officially recognize Christmas? And they recognized it in 1836.
Connecticut.
No, I
Maine.
wish. That would be good. No.
New York.
No.
Patron saint.
No.
Louisiana.
No. We've never been here.
It's a lot of places. Alabama.
That's it.
Hey!
For real. And which was the last one to do so in 1907. There's a popular musical about this.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Did you know?
No, I just lived there.
Yeah, but they were the last one.
Don't recommend it. 0 stars.
The Scrooges. Fine, everyone else did it, so we'll recognize Christmas. I'm not going to make you guess this one, but holiday purchases account for 1/6 of all yearly retail sales in the U.S. Did you know that? Isn't that insane?
1/6. So that would be like 17-18% of all sales, something like that. What's this? Because if it was 1/5, it'd be 20%, right?
No, I don't know. You do the math. You tell me.
Okay.
It's a
We're gonna
lot,
go with
though.
That. That's a lot.
Oh. This is just more fun facts.
The Polar Express train's coming.
I know.
You hear that?
I hear that. White Christmas, the song by Irving Berlin,
Okay.
is still the best-selling single record of all time.
No way.
It has over,
Yes.
any guesses?
I mean,
Blank sales worldwide.
it's obviously over the billion mark.
It's not.
So there's no single song that sold over 1 billion.
Not according to this Christmas fact list.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, especially in a streaming age. I don't know. What is it?
It's 100 million sales worldwide for one song, for the single.
I would have said Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas would have even more than that.
Yeah, but hers hasn't been around as long as his
That's true.
has.
But
So.
no one was buying singles. I guess maybe.
Yeah, they would, like a record.
Yeah, like an
That's
A
all
and
you
B
had.
side.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This fun fact was truly fun for me.
Okay.
So you know the song, The 12 Days of Christmas?
Uh-huh.
If you add up all of the gifts together,
Yes.
do you know what that number is?
Of course I do.
What is it?
It's 12 plus 11 plus 10 plus 9 plus I don't know. What is it?
364.
That's
Isn't
too
that
many
crazy?
presents.
No, but that makes sense because you're adding it up to make up to the next year, which is Christmas. So
Like one a day kind of thing?
Yeah, you have 364 presents because there's 365 days in the
Is
year.
that for realsies?
That's what it says.
Did you do the math?
No,
All right, you give me another fact.
that's all the facts.
Well, now we got to know.
But it's probably however many times they sing it in the song because they don't just
Yeah,
sing
I
it
was like,
once.
this is not coming out
You
to
know,
that.
you sing it over and over again until you get to 12.
Okay, yeah, that's
You know what I
complex math, and
I'm just
can't
saying it's
do that.
364. I thought that was really clever because that is 364, and then you have 364 days till Christmas after Christmas.
It's pretty cool.
You know what I mean, Tangerine?
I do.
Don't judge me.
I'm not
Those are my
judging you.
Christmas fun facts. I just wanted to share some fun facts in the holiday spirit, and those were them. So now you have stuff to talk about this Christmas.
Did you know that Teddy Roosevelt was the first president to ever cut down a tree? I don't remember what the fact was.
No, he was an environmentalist. He banned Christmas trees
Did
in
you know-
1901 from the White House, which I
Wow.
think that's probably over now. I think they probably do the Christmas tree there, but
Yeah, probably. I think
he
after
loved
100
nature.
years.
He was a nature man. Teddy Roosevelt was my favorite president. I don't know why.
Good name.
Teddy.
And, teddy bears. He left a legacy.
Yeah, it's true.
Most people, not just presidents, most people don't leave a legacy
That's
like
true.
a teddy bear. All right.
So that was fun Christmas facts with Kelly.
Got time for just a couple stories.
Yeah, and I have a story,
I'm telling you, it's the Kelly Show today.
but I'll share it whenever you want me to share it.
I hope it
don't know.
involves your political opinions and beliefs.
It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with something that I'm actually really scared of.
Oh, very nice. Well, while you find that, I will give a shout out to a story that didn't make the cut because it wasn't much of a story. But remember when we were playing a game, I think in season 1, and it was, lies that restaurants told?
Yes.
We talked about the langostino in
Yes, and
Red Lobster's lobster bisque.
Yep, and Shelby and Paul just sent in that picture of them
Yes.
eating langostino.
So since it's a part of the show, and shout out to Shelby and Paul, I had to at least say it because I love the headline, and it does have to do with Red Lobster, not a sponsor. The story would have been how Red Lobster's endless shrimp deal cost the company millions. This is still the title. Quote, "It didn't work," CFO says. So I guess they had like a $20 endless shrimp and some other thing.
You can eat a lot of shrimp if you like it.
You can eat a lot of langostino is what I'm learning.
Yeah.
But it was only like $20. And they're going to lose, they said this quarter in Q3, or I guess it would be last quarter, they're going to lose $11 million and about $20 million overall throughout the
I
year.
feel like they're just holding on, so good luck.
Well, here's something I didn't know too. Did you know, fun facts with SP, that the parent company for Red Lobster,
Arby's?
it should be because they seem to own everything. No, it's a company based in Thailand. I don't remember what the name was called, but I would have assumed that it was an American company. It's very much not.
That's weird.
And it said I don't know if it was I think it was one of the owners of the parent company was like, we were not aware of how cheap we were offering this. And the CFO was like, yeah, it didn't work.
It didn't work, sorry.
They're like, we wanted to get more people in the restaurant. That worked. But at what cost?
We didn't make any money.
At what cost?
Dang.
Anyway, so I want you to fill in the blank here. This is my actual story before
Okay.
we get to yours.
I hope you don't
Vietnamese
have the same
man.
story. Okay, you don't.
Vietnamese, let me try a third time.
You got it.
Vietnamese man experiencing severe headaches for 5 months discovers blank in his brain.
Cockroach.
No. What was the one we did before? Oh, remember? Tapeworm in the brain?
Oh, yeah. This isn't tapeworm, is it?
No, it's an item,
Needle.
a food item.
Spaghetti.
Not a food, though. A utensil.
Fork.
That'd be pretty impressive.
You said a utensil.
Yeah. One more guess.
Spoon.
Chopsticks.
I was going to say chopstick.
5 months of headaches discovers chopsticks in his brain.
How did he get a chopstick in his brain?
That's a great
How
question.
does it even work? Because it's not even straight. It's like,
I know. I'll put the photo up in the
oh, it's a
in
broken
the video.
chopstick.
Or it's 2 chopsticks.
Did he stick it up his nose? Like what?
So here's what it says. 35-year-old Vietnamese man experiencing severe headaches for 5 months discovers a pair of chopsticks lodged in his skull. Basically what happened was he went in and after these headaches and they were like, yeah, you got chopsticks in there. How'd that happen? And he was like, well, I don't know. I guess I got drunk at a bar and got into a fight about 5 months ago. And I thought I got stabbed in the face with something, but there was nothing there. And he went to the hospital that night that it happened. And they're like, you're good to go. And then he comes back 5 months later and they're like, yeah, you have chopsticks like that have penetrated through your nose and entered into your brain.
So they went up his nose? Dang.
Yes. Good news, though, is fortunately the doctors successfully removed the chopsticks
That's good.
through endoscopic surgery, which is small incisions. And the patient is reportedly in stable condition, awaiting discharge from the hospital.
Dang.
Yes. So keep things out of your nose. Or as my home movies fans will know, don't stick marbles up your nose. Don't stick them up there because they're going to get lodged in your brain. That's my story today. I mean, I give you more details, but it's pretty gross.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because mine's a little bit gross too. I read this and went and gasped like multiple times while
you were reading
this,
it on the couch to yourself.
Kept getting worse.
Yeah.
But so interesting.
All right, hit me with it.
Man finds blank in his toe while on a cruise. I was going to have you fill in that blank too, but I'm not.
Is the cruise relevant to what's in the toe?
Yes. Where the cruise was relevant.
Man finds crab.
No.
Glass?
No, it is an animal.
Eel.
Of sorts.
Octopus.
I'm scared of these.
Shark.
In his toe?
I don't know. Sand crab.
Nope. You want me to tell you? You want to guess one more time?
No, give me a couple.
I'm scared. Biggest fear.
Heights? He's found heights in his toe?
No.
Biggest fear. And it's your biggest fear in the ocean is sharks.
Okay. It had nothing to do with the ocean.
It is your biggest fear? Is it a tapeworm situation?
No.
Is it one of those things that comes from the ground that you drop salt on and they're those long worm looking things?
No.
Okay, I'm out.
Man finds spider eggs in his toe while on a cruise.
Ooh. Okay, I was thinking beach. It wasn't beachy.
No. So while on a cruise, this guy noticed that his toe was turning purple. And so he went to the ship's doctor who told him that he'd been bitten by a wolf spider. So what I'm going to go through this because I remember, but I want to make sure I get
there photos?
The facts. I don't remember. So let's keep. I don't think so though. So he was celebrating his 35th wedding anniversary on a cruise in France. I guess Peruvian wolf spiders are native to France, which is weird because of Peruvian wolf spiders.
Parisian wolf spiders, maybe.
I don't know, but these spiders are often found in France city ports after arriving on cargo ships. So it maybe not native to France, but they happen there. So they cut his toe open
on the
cruise. And they said that the fluid looked like it had leaves, but those leaves were actually spider eggs.
Oh my gosh.
And so they took all the spider eggs out. And I guess they were eating outside somewhere and he got bitten. And what this breed does is they can bite you and they can numb you. That's what they do. They numb you and then they lay eggs inside of you or whatever that is. So that's why he didn't really.
What are those? Remember those spiders that like lay their eggs in wasps?
Yeah, I know. Maybe I think it's a wolf spider. Truly, I think what you're talking about is a wolf spider, which is what this is. But they numb you and they lay your eggs inside you. That's what he did. They bit him and they numbed him somehow. And they did that. They thought like he had bought new sandals. So he thought that he was like rubbing his sandals up and that's why it was a little bit uncomfortable, but he didn't really feel it. But once he had gone to the hospital and he got on antibiotics to help with the swelling, you could actually see like the bite mark on his foot of where the wolf spider had bit him. So he found it out, it turned purple, all good, right? You think it's all good?
Yeah.
Until he made a full recovery, but then 4 weeks later, he noticed there was something weird with his toe again. So he went back to the hospital. It turns out that they had missed a spider egg in his toe. Oh
my gosh.
And so they had to cut his toe open again and remove the spider, which had luckily been killed by antibiotics, but it was a stinking spider in his toe. He took 4 weeks of antibiotics, guys. So however long it took for the spider to die, it hatched and grew. It was like a spider. And then it finally died. He asked if he could take it home. They told him no.
What?
But that's the story. Oh, they said that the spider was making its way out by trying to eat through his toe, but then ultimately
but it
died.
Couldn't breathe or anything. There's no air in the toe.
I don't know that it needs air to breathe. I don't know.
Spiders?
I mean, they do, but I don't really know because they get born into things normally. And so maybe that's just a part of their life cycle. But they said that they believe the spider was trying to make its way out by eating its way out of his toe, which is why his toe is bugging him. But then ultimately died because of the antibiotics.
That's disgusting.
That's my biggest fear. New fear. Unlocked. I have fears of things crawling into my ears at nighttime or my nose, but mostly my ears. I always try to sleep with my hair over my ears.
That's why you sleep with your earplugs in your ears and nose.
Yeah.
Fun facts.
No, I don't. Because breathing out of your mouth is bad.
That's true. I mean, if a spider's going to get in.
It's going to find its way in. But that is terrifying.
Did you see that video of someone who set a sticky trap for spiders in their house, and the spiders were huge?
Probably Australia.
And there was one spider that must have been carrying its eggs on its back.
I did.
And all of the little spiders got stuck.
Tried to get away.
There was like dozens and dozens of spiders on there.
That was in Australia, was it not?
Freaking
They were the
gross.
big spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. Isn't my story great?
Your story's
I want
gross.
you to tell me that it's good.
Your story is
I
so
found a
good,
one.
and it reminded me of something that I feel bad that I won't be able to pull the photo because a photo
okay.
does exist. But when I was in high school, I went to a summer camp, and I got bit by a brown recluse on
yep.
my hand, and my hand swelled up, like huge, and it was throbbing. I couldn't like hold it down by my side, and I went to the doctor there. I forget what they call the doctors at camps. And the doctor goes, whoa, looks at it. I'm actually looking at the scar on my hand right now. And he goes, call everybody who's working in here. I want them to see what a real spider bite looks like. And I'm like 16 or 17. I'm like, oh, great. And we're at camp. We're not at a hospital.
Yeah.
So he like takes a knife or
he didn't numb you or anything.
No numbing, no nothing. And this hand is already throbbing. You can't touch it. A sheet can't be laid on it. It's that much pain. And truly, if you can't see it, I don't know how to describe it. It was about this big.
The size of a pea
Was
or
the
kernel of corn.
And full disclosure, this is going to be gross. That was the size of the whitehead pus on top. Not the size of the bite, the whole thing. I would just, I'll get there in a second. That was as big as the white part, like a pimple on your face. It was huge. He scrapes off the top. Then he takes this, what I can only describe as, it was like a long Q-tip, but it wasn't a Q-tip. It was a wooden stick with a cotton swab on the end, and it was squared off. So it's not rounded, it was square. And it didn't look sanded. And he then takes that and sticks it inside of it.
Because he has to get it out.
Yep. And then you start squeezing it. I'm in agonizing pain at this point. Again, this is your chance to skip ahead 30 seconds. Last shot. They squeeze it. Of course it hurts. I would say it was about the size of, if you took those $50 coins, so they're bigger than a quarter.
Yeah.
If you stacked maybe 5 or 6 of them on top, that is the amount of pus that came out of my hand. He kept squeezing, and then he jammed that thing in there more, and more would come out. It was the most disgusting thing.
And probably the most pain.
It was so much pain, and he cleared it all out, and there was literally a crater left in my hand. It wasn't like when you get a cut and then like blood comes out of it or it heals up.
Yeah.
It was just a hole because the poison had eaten away at the skin in my hand.
Yeah.
Had it been just like a couple centimeter, a couple millimeters to either side, it would have gone right to a vein in my hand, which would have been really bad. And you won't be able to see it if I were to show you, but I do have the scar still on my hand right here. And it was terrible and disgusting. I do have a photo somewhere, but I have no idea where it is. So, and I'll just spare you the having to look at that disgustingness.
Yeah, I'm just grateful you didn't die.
Yeah, could have died.
Yep.
A lot would be different had that doctor not jammed a stick in my hand.
Well, how long did it take you to go to the doctor anyway?
It took me a couple of days because, when you're young and stupid or old and stupid, you're like, this will go away.
Yeah, it's surprising that none of your camp counselors who are not qualified, because no offense, but no camp counselors they're all young. But it's surprising that none of them were like, you should go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure somebody ultimately told me that.
Yeah.
And that's why I went, but it was not fun. And I still had to walk with my hand up for like the rest of the camp because if I put it down and the blood rushed to it, it was bad. It was truly a medical emergency.
Oof.
But still beats having spider eggs laid in your toenail.
And then trying to eat their way out.
That's pretty gross. And that's why you come here, to feel good about stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap on today's episode.
Yeah.
We hit unpopular opinions, some more unpopular than others, maybe. And all sorts of stuff here, there, and everywhere. Some fun stories and all those sorts of things. We got a busy week.
Yeah.
By the time you listen to this, I will have finished doing it. But tonight, I'm doing the wrap party for Dancing with the Stars.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So that's going to be cool. Hopefully, we might see some old friends there, like our friend Derek Huff, but he may be hopping on a plane to go back on tour.
Probably
I don't know.
true. Yeah.
But either way,
might see Julianne.
Might see Julianne. Might see, Alfonso. So many
Jenna,
people.
so
Many people. But I get to do that with the Red Hot Band. That'll be really fun. So I got Dancing with the Stars tonight. I've got another gig on Friday. That's just a normal gig, not worth really getting into. We've got you've got a gig on Thursday, a local gig.
Yeah.
Which is going to be fun. And then we're taking Bumble to the Academy Awards.
The Academy Museum. I know, which they just had their big gala, and our friend Ashley May did that. And I know she's like, I can't wait to hear about it. because I know she was super excited about it, but we'll be there with her. But I'm so excited about that event with our buddy Troy that we love so much.
Can't wait to see. I'm not sure what we can say about it yet, but the background is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
So
have some
excited
photos
about
to
it.
show you on that
Yeah.
later on. The last thing is happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate. I believe it's starting on Friday. I saw it on my calendar. So if you are a person who celebrates Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah to you. Happy 8 days coming up here soon. Melet Shalom.
No.
I grew up kind of Jewish. Did you? I mean, you are. What is it like? Culturally Jewish?
Yeah, my grandma is Jewish.
Yeah,
from Germany. Which we
My
talked about last week.
my stepfamily's Jewish. They wanted me to get bar mitzvahed or get a bar mitzvah. I don't know what the verb form of that is.
Yeah, you'd be bar mitzvahed.
Yep, but we didn't end up doing that.
Yeah, I did never had a bat mitzvah, but I went to plenty.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, we used to do that. We have like an old menorah that I think my grandma gave to my mom or something, but we used to do that. We didn't do like the presents, but we would do the thing. And then a couple years at church, they did like Passover and Hanukkah and stuff, and I sang a couple of times.
Oh really?
Yeah, in Hebrew.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hebrew adjacent.
Yeah, I mean it is. I can do it. Not right now. I'd have to like look at it and remember, but
Yeah.
yeah, but we did it all.
Interesting. Well, happy Hanukkah for
Happy
all
Hanukkah.
who celebrate. I hope your December has been going really well. Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're sharing some fun times with some fun people that you're spending most of your time
Hardly working.
We love you. And we'll
Bye,
see
yeah.
you right back here next week for season 3. Bow, 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 bow.
Woo! I did not know that.
You didn't know what? That we're
I'm
doing this
learning.
again next week?
Yeah. I thought we were starting Hardly Holidays. My bad.
Nope, season 3. Hardly Holiday is going to be fun. We'll talk more about it next week. But I will say this. Good reminder. I'm going to be posting stuff on my Instagram at Sean Patrick DJ, as well as our Hardly Working Instagram, which is at Hardly Working Insta. Some prompts, getting some things from you that we're going to incorporate into our couple Hardly Holidays episodes. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to post it a few times so you don't want to miss it, or so you won't miss it, and send those in, and we'll see which ones we can incorporate on the show.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time. Well, we got to go. We got a busy week, but we love you. I love you.
I love you too.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.